Now, when you're out in the desert, the dating life out in the desert, did you find some women that were like loved that you lived in a van?
Yeah.
Was there any women like that? I was like, oh, good, because we can go anywhere at any time,
Yeah.
like free spirit type of thing.
Yeah, there was some woman that loved it. Not enough to be my girlfriend or anything.
Welcome to the Michael Yo Show. It's Michael Yo. I am here. I think he's a great comedian. I really do think you're a great comedian.
Thank you.
What's cool is, where did we first meet? Was it the first Kill Tony?
Kill Tony, yeah. I
Yeah.
was like, I'm a huge fan. It was
Yeah,
like,
and that's the thing. You came up to me, like, comics are really like weird, you know what I mean? But you came
Yeah.
up like, I'm a big fan, and we just hit it off. And then, I was on Kill Tony. I'm horrible on Kill Tony. Like, I'm the worst guest.
you say that, but
No,
you were
I
great
was.
on it.
No,
Because
see,
you're so positive and everyone's like getting reamed by Tony. And then
yeah, and
you're
I'm
there.
the nice guy going, oh, no, you're really good, you know? And I'm
That's
I'm
not
lying.
what this show's about.
I'm lying. I know. I'm totally opposite of the show. But anyway, what was great is, a lot of people know you now because of Kill Tony. I love it. We're in Tempe, Arizona right now, Phoenix. Taylor, the guy that shot my special, we're in his studio. What's the name of your studio? Speakeasy Studio. So if you're in this area, make sure you shoot your podcast with him, any comedians that are in town. But I love watching, just 4 or 5 months ago, when I was on Kill Tony, see you touring with Joe, see you going out with Tony, see you getting your own dates, selling out some of those dates.
Yeah.
And then, coming out with me, getting to experience a different audience.
Yeah.
And I love watching you work through that. What do you find most interesting about like going out with different comedians and do it yourself, going out by yourself?
I mean, I like that your audience is more mature and they don't like little boy stuff. So they have to be more confident and be like, frame my shocking stuff in like reality and logic.
Yeah.
So it makes me like have to like justify like a court case, like why this is what I'm saying in front of them.
What I like is every show, I see you working out, because you'll start one way and go the next show, you'll be like, all right, you're always switching up your lineups. You're always adding new jokes and stuff, which is very, very cool to watch, just to try to navigate the audience. How'd you start in comedy?
Well, I started because of Joe Rogan's podcast. He was just made it sound like a cowboy thing, and like you go out there, you do your thing, and then you get rewarded. Depending
Like,
on
how
your
long
merit.
ago was this?
9 years ago.
9 years ago. So you're listening to Joe Rogan, and he's a comedian,
Right.
and you're like, oh, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got fired from my job as an engineer. I got a 2.7 GPA. No one wanted to hire me. I didn't want to work for them. I was like, why am I doing this? They don't want me. I don't want them.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me just do something like goof off, just have fun, like be really good at goofing off.
Did you study to be an engineer?
Yeah.
So
did
you got a
4
degree
years.
as an engineer?
Yeah. Georgia Tech.
Wow. And was that something you wanted to do, or were you kind of
Not
pressured
really.
into it?
It was just a backup plan. Like since I wasn't doing anything anyways, I was like, oh, let me get this piece of paper
Yeah.
that will be great if I need it. It's a good thing to have just in terms of making money. But yeah, I wasn't really good at it. Heart wasn't in it. And then I found comedy and I was like, this is way better for me.
So Rogan, you listen to Rogan 9 years ago. You're like, I'm gonna try this. Where'd you first try it out?
Jai Thai in Seattle, Washington. living
Is that
with
a
my
restaurant?
mom. Yeah, it's a Thai restaurant. They have a back room. And it's actually a pretty cool room. Very legit stage. Yeah, I love the scene there. But yeah, Jai Thai was such a beautiful, like it's not like a real comedy place, but it's not like a shitty restaurant either. It's like right
Yeah.
in the middle, so it just fit.
So how was your first time on stage? Was it great? Was it bad?
It was all right. I had a good time, and I got a rush.
Yeah.
like
It's
when-
that rush of the first time up there.
Yeah,
And I think a lot of people know if you're gonna really do it or if you're not ever gonna do it again.
yeah,
Because you gotta absorb that rush, and then when you get off, no matter how you do, when you get off the stage, you pretty much know I'm a comedian. This is what I want to do, or I'm done with it.
yeah. If you don't enjoy it, if you don't enjoy talking to people, then you're not going to stick through the shitty parts.
Yeah. Oh, never. What was do you remember the one joke that landed your first time on?
Uh, I just said something about Rape of Nanking, and that got a reaction. It wasn't positive, but I remember it making an impact.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh, people can hear me.
Yeah.
Like I'm not just talking into the void. And then as long as there's like a fucking higher like a path, then it's like, oh, I can figure this out eventually.
So Joe Rogan, you go on stage. Now you're just in Seattle trying to go to certain gigs and stuff like that. And I find it amazing. You hustled for all that time. And then did you ever try to be close to Joe Rogan when he lived in California? Because I know you lived in a car, right?
Yeah.
In a van. So you could go wherever you want and do gigs and stuff. But you knew Rogan was based in LA. Did you ever try to go to LA and break into that scene or no?
I visited, but I was too intimidated. I was like, oh, they're way out of my reach. I'm not even in the same league. So I went to New York, bummed it there for 3 years. And then when they moved to Austin,
when you say bummed it, what does that mean? Just bounced around and tried to make it work?
Open mics. Nobody booked me. Just living in a van. Just doing all the mics where they can't refuse me.
Worst mic you ever been to?
I mean, the first time I visited New York, I went to a mic in the back of a bar, and it was all comedians. And I tried to do a joke about something about the comic before me, and some guy was like, "Be funny." It's like a comedian heckling me.
Yeah, comedians are the worst to perform. I mean, good comedians when they're established, it's cool, but when you go to open mics and everybody's just trying to come up, man, they're so like judgmental and they don't want to give you a laugh.
Yeah.
They really don't. You know?
They want to see you like bomb or like be suffering or like be an idiot, like a clown.
So they can feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
But what's weird is once you reach a certain level, the real comedians that made it wants everyone to win. That's what I say. Most of them.
Yeah. They're positive.
They're positive. They want everybody to win, from Segura to Tony. Like people don't realize, but Tony actually wants those people to win up there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's so talented at like, whatever, roasting or whatever, but he wants you to do well.
Yeah.
Because then you're a part of the show like you, so yeah, it's very interesting how you didn't come to LA really. You tried, you went to New York, and then what happened after New York?
And then the pandemic hit. And I was on a road trip in Miami, and I was like, well, I don't need to go back. I don't have anything there. Everything I own is in my van. So I went to Seattle and then did 6 months there, just, hunkering down, social distancing, and then went to LA 6 months or like 3 months. And then there was another spike. So I went camping in the desert for like 3 months.
What desert?
Above Joshua Tree, below Joshua Tree. Mount Superstition.
How was that? Was it? I mean, you must be lonely out there by yourself, or do you meet people? Or
I met a couple people, but yeah I loved being alone, just because you're around people all the time, and just to get none of it. It's just like, oh, this is what I'm missing, and it makes me like want to talk to people now, because I know what it's like to not have it. But yeah, it's like it was good, I think, just to be alone. While everyone was going crazy during the pandemic. But yeah, it's like now I get to choose to go into it. Like, cause I wanted to talk to people now.
Yeah.
Instead of being like a thing that's mandatory, now it's like something that's a privilege. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, when you're out in the desert, the dating life out in the desert, did you find some women that were like loved that you lived in a van?
Yeah.
Was there any women like that? I was like, oh, good, because we can go anywhere at any time, like free spirit type of thing.
Yeah, there was some woman that loved it. Not enough to be my girlfriend or anything. But the idea of it, yeah.
Yeah, the idea sounds cool. Hey, well, we can go anywhere you want.
Yeah.
And how would you break it to them? Like, really, like when you're on a date, you meet somebody, how would you break it to them? Like, yo, this is my house.
Usually I met people through open mics at comedy. So they already knew because I did jokes about it and everyone knew about it. It's like a common knowledge thing. I really didn't meet anyone outside of comedy
So
that I
you
had to
dated some
convince.
comedians.
Yeah, I just wouldn't tell them. Or if I had to tell them, I'd be like, "Oh, I live in, New Rochelle or like
Um,
East New York or somewhere far away."
did you ever try, like you really liked a girl and was like, I can't let her know I lived in a van. You just rented a hotel room. Like you went out, you didn't have much money, but you're like, screw it, I'm going for it.
No, it's
No?
never came to that. I would have, but it just never really occurred.
Okay. So, pandemic, you're in the desert, just chilling, everybody's going crazy. Then you find out Rogan and the whole crew moves from LA to Austin. And unlike LA, where you didn't hang around that long, you were like, I'm going to Austin.
Yeah.
Why was that? Was that because of Kill Tony or was that because of Rogan? What was that?
I wanted to check it out. I just wanted to see what it was like because it's so new. No one's ever done that before. And I was sick of the duopoly of New York and LA. Like,
Yeah.
these are the only two choices. I mean, they're great cities, but it should be more diversity. It shouldn't be like everyone, because it's such a fucking madhouse.
Yeah.
Everyone moves there.
And like, I was telling a friend the other day, LA audience is so spoiled. I've seen lineups with Sebastian, Bill Burr, other killers on the lineup, and it's like, tickets still available, and it only holds 250 seats. I'm like, dude, this just shows you the problem with LA people. You're so spoiled. You got dudes on a lineup that would sell out stadiums, and you can't sell 250 tickets because your head is up your ass, think you're too cool, or you've seen them before. I mean, it's just, I'm so glad I don't live there anymore. I live in Vegas, but so you go to Austin. And what happens? Like, how long are you hanging out before it's like, oh, you got a chance to meet? How was it? Did you meet Tony? Did you just go on the show? Did you meet Rogan?
I did it twice. I talked to Tony there.
You just walked up to him?
No, maybe after shows or something, I said hi, but never really talked to him. And then he got canceled for the Peng Dang thing. And that
so
was
he's looking
end.
for an Asian
Yeah.
to be his friend.
Yeah.
And you were that guy.
I was the Asian.
There you. So he gets canceled for the Pang thing. And then how'd y'all meet? After a show, you just walked up to him?
I saw him at the creek, and then he was like, "Hey, you want to sing the national anthem?" And when we come back, just to be an Asian singing the national anthem.
That is hilarious. And you did it, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would have done anything.
Right?
But yeah, I did that. Before that, came in March, and then I became a regular. I sang the national anthem May 31st. So it was about like
2 months, 2.5 months you were there. And finally, so you sang that. And then what happened after that?
And then he said, "Come back next week. I'll give you a spot." I was like, "Oh, nice! I got a guaranteed spot on Kill Tony."
That's dope.
Yeah, I was so excited. I got to prepare. So I went up there, did some jokes, and then they were like, "You want to be the new regular when whoever isn't in town?"
Dope.
Yeah.
Who was the regular then, or that Pang guy was out now?
Peng was never a regular.
So who was the regular then?
It was William Montgomery and David Lucas and Michael Lair.
Got you.
And then David Lucas was out of town a lot, so they're like, "You want to be his replacement?" And then I was the first Austin regular.
Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. And it's changed your life.
Yes, totally. I'm rich now.
I love it. I mean, you got your own place now.
Yeah, I'm like a member of society.
You are.
I can walk into stores.
Like I see at the shows, women love you. You know, I mean, your dating life has probably increased a lot.
Yeah, it's so easy now.
It's it is, right?
Yeah.
It's so crazy how women are just totally different. Like you're the same person as driving that van, you know, but now you're on a popular show.
Yeah.
Is it? I mean, what? I don't know. What's to say about people? Like, it's just so wild.
Yeah, I mean, even men like me more.
Dude, I see men crowd around you more than girls.
I know. Yeah, they kind of cock block me. Get out of the way. There's a woman.
Right. So Kill Tony, you become a regular. You're crushing it on it. And I'm sure Rogan popped by a couple times. And then when was the first time Tony said, "I want to take you on the road," or Rogan was like, let's go?
I think it was after I had sex with someone in a broom closet. And
What?
then
Oh, I've heard about this.
yeah,
I know
some stripper.
So you had Like, and you talked about it on on Kill Tony?
I met her through Kill Tony, and after Kill Tony, we had sex in a broom closet.
At the club?
Yeah.
Oh, was she from the Yellow Rose?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. But yeah, she did that. And then Greg Fitzsimmons talked about it on Joe Rogan's podcast about this crazy Asian guy. And then and then I got to do one of the Vulcan shows opening up for Rogan.
Now, if you don't know, if you don't live in Austin, Rogan does pretty much a weekly show at Vulcan and brings his friends up. So that you must have been shitting your pants on that, bro.
My hero, the guy that started me in comedy, the biggest podcaster in the world. And then I open up for him, and then like
hold on, but you're just skimming by that. Like, did he text you? Did he have a person reach out? Because that's a cool moment when somebody that big. I still look. I've known Rogan for 21 years, but when he texts me, I still get giddy. You know, it's like I'm like, oh my God, you know, like because it's so cool that you know one of the biggest, I mean, you can say stars in the world. Like my other good friend is Enrique Iglesias. And when he hits me up, I get giddy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, Enrique fucking Iglesias.
Yeah. Is this real life?
Is this right? You're like, is this real?
I guess.
So did he reach out to you or was it one of his people?
Tony did.
And he goes, yo, you want to be at the Vulcan?
Yeah. Dude.
So how long did you have? What'd they give you? 5, 10?
10.
10. And did you destroy?
I did all right for a consistent amount of time. And then he was like, you're funny. That's the most important thing. You got it, kid, kind of thing, which is great.
Like a father. You got it, kid. You got it, kid.
It was like a little kid meeting Babe Ruth for the first time.
Yeah.
He gives you a bat or something.
It's and then it just grew from there.
Yeah.
And then eventually you're going to stadiums with him.
Yeah.
Was that like your first stadium? Was that nerve-wracking?
Yeah.
It's weird because I've done some of those where it's a different ball game. It almost feels you're performing to yourself because so many people and the sound travels sometimes slow, sometimes fast. You hear like the front of the audience before you hear the back of the audience. Your first experience, where was that? Like
Five-Star Arena in Jacksonville,
Florida, right?
Yeah.
And how'd you adjust?
I was just like, be honest and authentic in the moment and be excited because I was so excited. So I was like, just be a kid in a candy shop. Like I've been telling dick jokes in bars. Now I get to yell at people in an arena. And I was just like, just enjoying like being able to cuss in front of 10,000.
That's what I'm saying. People, you know, I used to get caught up in all these big moments. But then if you think about it, it's just another show. I mean, it's a lot more people. Yeah. But it's another show. Yeah. You know, and the main thing is dealing with just the different dynamics of the crowd. You know what I mean? Like like it rolls in, you know, and you got to kind of wait a little longer for the punchline to hit. If you're new to that, so I've seen comics that have never done it before, and they just run through all their jokes, and they get caught in the middle because the laugh hits them late. You know,
and then the audience doesn't laugh because they're like, "Oh, he's gonna interrupt. Don't laugh. He's gonna say something now."
Yeah, it's very weird. It's very weird. Yeah. So your life has changed. You're on the road. What's been just out of your career to this moment, which is a very inspiring story? What has been the worst time in your life? Was there like a worst point in your life?
Yeah, probably like I had a minivan, you know, stuck in Gowanus in New York. I was like fixing up my car and I couldn't find my keys. I was like, I'm gonna hit an open mic today. And then I couldn't find my keys and I was like, well, I can't move. I can't do anything. So I found my keys, eventually found it, but it was just living in a van, no money, no credits, just trying to go to an open mic, just looking for my keys like an animal. Yeah. You know, just shitting in plastic bags and stuff, just not even having the basic human decencies and rights and little perks and just going pure primal, just from the bottom of that.
So how's that feel? I mean, this is an obvious question, but I know it feels great now where you are, but you must have a different appreciation than a person that never had to go through that. You know, like you have those life experiences.
Right. I mean, I was a child of a lower upper class people. Yeah. So I was always like cosplaying. I knew I could always bounce out if I had to.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So what made you? Did you just was like, I don't want to depend on your parents, or what was
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I didn't want to depend on my parents. I also didn't think that the exchange rate for my labor was fair. I
Uh-huh.
didn't feel like I could trust the system to pay me fairly or to
Yeah.
use my time efficiently.
Well,
Because
it's kind of weird, and I don't know your parents. I don't know the situation, but it's kind of weird. Any parent will let their kid just live in a van and not try to help out, or were they fine with it?
well, I don't think I really gave them a choice. I just
Okay.
did it. I didn't want them to worry about me. I don't think I really told them. But they found out, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was living with them for 5 years, from 23 to 28.
Uh huh.
So they kind of did their
They
part.
did their thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they just sent me off when I was 28, which is old enough. It's not like I was 22.
Yeah. Yeah. Did what do they think about all this craziness now?
I don't know. I think they're happy and
Yeah.
satisfied. And yeah, they're glad it worked out because they were like really worried for me. I got suspended from college for shoplifting. They
Would you
found
still
drugs. Just like plates and a computer mouse, and I just filled my backpack with like random stuff that I needed.
at Target or something?
Yeah, Target.
It
And
was
Atlantic
Target.
Station. Yeah.
Did someone chase you out of the store? How'd it go down?
A policeman was at the entrance, like, you need to come with me. They were watching me the whole time through a camera. Yeah, and then I got pretrial diversion. I got the same lawyer that Gregory and Travis McMichaels had for shooting Ahmaud Arbery.
Oh my God. Really?
Yeah. Jason Sheffield. I got that lawyer before that, you know.
What?
And he got me off with pretrial diversion.
And what does that mean?
It means like it's my first crime. It's a
Oh.
misdemeanor. So they just had me do community service, which I forged.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so what do you, what's the perfect like outcome of all this for you? Is it because, you know, people have different goals,
Mhm.
you know, like if it stopped now, if you stayed at where you're at now, would you be satisfied? Like, what's your end goal for all this?
I would like to like write really, really good jokes consistently to the point where people are like, oh, that's the guy that writes really, really good jokes consistently.
Mm-hmm.
The respect of my peers in comedy, and then the ability to get on the road and do it myself,
Yeah.
and then put out good specials that are critically acclaimed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm working towards now. But other than that, I'm not really interested in like movies or anything. I think just being like George Carlin.
So your hobby is pretty much comedy. You don't.
Yeah, I don't really do much else.
I gotcha. I gotcha. It's interesting. We were talking just about like how craziness the world is right now. You know, like because I hear it in your comedy, it's coming out in my comedy, but we you know, when we're in the green room, we talk about just crazy stuff we're seeing in the world. Like what really like in the world right now has you going, man, we need to fix this, or this is really fucked up.
In the news right now, I mean, I just think that we should maybe just run this country like Sim City instead of like based on gut feeling and religion.
You know, I was talking about the other day. It's kind of like, you know, you got people, you see pictures of like people that run the country, and they all look the same. You know what I mean? Like this country is very diverse, and when you look at it, it's really not. And president, whether you like him or not, and whether you like Donald Trump or not, they're freaking old. They're my dad's age.
Yeah.
And when I look at my dad, I go, I would be petrified if he was president. Sometimes my dad just says random shit. You know, it's just like, so it's kind of like these guys are my dad's age and president.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty amazing. Like our country can't get a 40 or 50-year-old president.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. What do you think about our whole, but when I go to places like here, for instance, where Tempe, Arizona is one of the reddest places on earth. But yet at the show, you had a black and Jewish guy, a Korean guy, me, black and Korean. It's filled with white people, and we're all having a good time. It seems like comedy is the only bridge that can actually bring people together, you know?
Yeah. I mean, the president of Ukraine is a comedian. Donald Trump is sort of a comedian.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
If he wasn't funny, it'd be so much harder to do what he does.
It would be. I just think with comedy too, it's the only time people have to listen.
Yeah.
Because if you don't listen, you don't get it.
Yeah.
Where everything else, you can talk over people just to try to make your point. And it's the only time people are like, oh, I'm here to listen and laugh. And if I talk or do it, I'm going to miss that.
Yeah.
And I think that's why comedy is so potent. And I think it's very weird that comedians are held to the same level as politicians a lot of times, which blows me away. Like they will take what a comedian says and run with it like it's news.
Yeah.
They forget we're comedians. We're cracking jokes. But they'll let politicians get away with a lot of different things.
Yeah, because it's normal. Like the Joker says, it's planned out.
It is.
Yeah.
It's just screwed up, man. It's just screwed up. So what's next for you, man? What's next for you? Are you on tour right now? What's your 2023 looking like?
I am sparsely booked, you know, here and there. I got a couple gaps in my weekends, which I'm going to utilize because this past year I've been just going every weekend. And it's a little tiring.
Yeah, it's really tiring.
Yeah.
It's really tiring. It's, you know, when I first started going on the road, I used to talk to comedians and they would come back from tour, like just a weekend, and they would go, I'm exhausted. I was like, what are you talking about? All you're doing is talking up there. This is before I was a comedian. But then it's a superpower when you're up there. All your senses are so high. It's amazing you can say an act, hear conversations, hear an order from a waitress. Look at this guy going, he's not having a good time. It's just it's kind of like it's an out-of-body experience.
Yeah.
You ever feel that? Like, I can't believe all these senses are so big right now.
Yeah. Like I can see everything that's happening. And
it's slow.
I got to take into account all these people. It's like chess. Like chess players burn so many calories because they're just thinking 17 moves ahead.
Yeah, it's just exhausting. It's exhausting. And and I also understand why comics feel so alone on the road, because you come off a high. It's so high when you get off a stage, and then it drops because you got to wait till the next show. And then you got to bring it up high. And then when they're at the hotel, it's just like
That's
lonely.
Complete opposite.
Yeah.
And then just, you know, killing time, and you don't have anything that you're comfortable with there. Like you know, I don't have my inversion table. I don't have my people.
Yeah.
I've got my support group.
Yeah. And even like, I like to bring friends on the road, but it's still different. Like we're at this Moxie Hotel in Tempe. Man, look, I'm not dogging I am dogging a hotel. It's one of the worst hotels I've ever stayed in because the walls are paper thin. I hear everything in the next room. There was this lady, they should kick people out of hotels that are sick and they know they're sick. This lady was hacking, all like disgusting hacking. Like all that, it kept me up. I had to put the Bose headphones on to sleep. And I was like, and the night before I had to move rooms because they had these college kids that were just yapping away at 6 a.m. It's been the worst experience ever. It's horrible, man. I can't sit. And the beds suck.
Yeah.
Don't stay at the Moxie. That's what I'm saying. Stay away from the freaking Moxie. It's horrible. It's horrible. All right.
Blankets are super thin.
Oh, dude. It's the worst.
Yeah.
It is it's like just nothing. They shouldn't even have, it's almost like not even having blankets on.
Yeah. It's like the walls are made out of the blankets.
Yes. It's horrible, man. I freaking hate that hotel. They said everything else was sold out because all these students go back to school next week.
Yeah.
So everybody's in town, like parents and stuff. I think there was like a mathlete thing going on.
Yeah, something like that. A lot of young nerds.
Yeah. I didn't want to say it, but yeah, they were freaking nerds, bro.
Yeah.
Like smart nerds. You could tell they're just smart.
Yeah.
You know, they have nothing going for them except
Socially
running the
weird.
country in about 10 years, you know?
Yeah, they're going to move to San Francisco soon.
Build a tech company and freaking kill it, man. Yeah, but hopefully tonight, you know, I get
At least
some good stuff.
you have a guitar in your room. They play a guitar in every
Do you
room.
play guitar?
I do.
You do, right?
Yeah.
That's a good way to pick up chicks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
would
it's a
think.
little on the nose.
But isn't it? Like they like singing and stuff, right?
It's an added bonus.
Yeah.
But it's hard to just like get chicks from that because it's so obvious. They're like, oh, you're gonna do that.
Oh, have you tried that? And the girl was like, no. I can't play any instrument. I got kicked out of band because I couldn't drum roll. I was a drummer, but you know, you got to drum roll. I couldn't do that shit. I was last chair, you know. I was horrible in band. Yeah. Comedy is the only thing I'm good at, really. And interviewing people, I'm kind of good at, you know?
Yeah.
Man, that's pretty much it.
That was
Oh, and
awesome.
I'm a great father. Do you want a family? One day?
Yes.
Is that
How old
part
were
of
you when you started?
I'll tell you the real story. I had a dream when I was 35 years old that I was at my own funeral and I was hovering over my casket and all that was around me was just random girls I hooked up with. And I go, if I die today, that's my legacy. So then I started dating to marry. First dates, I would ask them if they want to get married in the next couple of years. Like, I didn't care because if they're into it, it's all good. And it took me 2 years to find my wife, man. But so I got married at 37. And it's been the best thing ever for me because I kind of talk about it in my stand-up, but I like predictability. I like going home knowing what I'm gonna get. The biggest problem being single and older, you get home and you're lonely. So now you're calling people you don't really want to hang out with and spending money on them because you just don't want to be by yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what I caught like around 35 that started happening. It was like, I'm just hanging out with people I don't even want to be with, but you know, they're hot or they're this and, you know, let me just go out, spend money on dinners. And I wasted so much money in my like 33 to 37. I've wasted so much money because you just don't want to be, because you're older and you have a sense, like when you're young, you have friends that'll go out and you're still at the age, you're 33, right?
33.
You still at the age, and plus the podcast, the type of people, you can always go out and have fun. I was working from like 8 a.m. to 5 every day. So when I got home, I was tired. So I was like, well, let me hang out with somebody a couple of hours. So it's just like a machine.
Yeah. Yeah. Either have to like get them early and then pay for dinner, or you can hang out with them all night till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Either or.
And in Miami, it was even worse because they had after-hour clubs.
Oh, my God.
Dude, I remember, and this was when I was young, 20s. I would go to Miami, you would go to a club. It would end at 2, and you're like, all right, let's go. And they would go, oh, let's go to after club. You go to after club. 4, you're like, okay, let's go. Then they're like, oh, let's go to that Space. It was called Space. That would go to noon. And then finally, you just give up on it. You're like, screw it, I'm going home, man. I can't do this.
Yeah, in Miami, you gotta like pull the trigger. You gotta like now.
Yeah,
or never.
now or never.
Yeah.
I had friends in Miami that would wake up at 1 a.m. to go out.
Oh
noon.
my God.
It's a different beast.
Yeah, Miami's crazy.
Yeah, it's a different beast, man.
This is why they hated me when I was there opening.
So, do you think they really? Okay, so Hans opened for me. We did Miami together, and this was that the first weekend I took you out?
Yes.
So, and
The
improv.
Dania Beach.
No, it was it was Miami Improv. It's one of them. One of them. How'd you feel it went?
I felt like they were like, "What?
Yeah.
Like this is weird. Like, why are you?" Like, I felt like, have you never seen Woody Allen? You know, like Dimitri Martin. Like
No.
people like me exist. Like they were like so against nerds.
Yeah, it was very weird because when I'm in the back and you can hear my laugh over everybody because I was enjoying his set. I thought I think you're hilarious, but for some reason, even it was kind of like that the whole weekend, right?
Yeah.
Like 5 shows. It was something wasn't connecting with you in that crowd, and I was like, I hope you're okay after that. You know, I really thought, because you're such a good guy, I was like, did that affect you any, or you kind of just brushed it off?
I mean, yeah, I loved the feedback because then it's like, oh, let me try to connect with these audiences maybe by starting out with some tamer jokes and then move on to more.
And then
ones.
we did another show. You did well, and then like this one, Phoenix, you crushed it.
Thank you.
You know, so I just see big things for you, but it's also that thing is you need to, you know, you use everything you got, but you got to go out on your own too.
Yeah.
And you are, and that's important because you know, when I tour with Joe, it was great seeing them fill up stadiums and auditoriums, but I was like, I want to do that too.
Yeah.
You know, and until you go out on your own, because we all know this, once that headliner goes on, nobody remembers you when you open up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like you'll have fans and stuff, but they're there to see that headliner.
Yeah.
And they're so excited, you know, especially when you got a big one like Joe Rogan or Joe Coy or whoever is huge.
Yeah.
It's a different level.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's hard to test out new material too.
You kind of don't want to.
Yeah.
You just need to stick with the hits. You kind of
Yeah.
work out the new material on your shows.
Yeah, that's what I love about my shows.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So-
yeah, it's like tricky because then it's like, yeah, because I want to try out new material, but yeah, you also don't want to bomb.
Yeah, you don't want to try out new material in front of 17,000 people. You know,
Yeah.
that's a difficult environment. That's a
Yeah.
difficult. So before we go, what are anything you're promoting, podcasts, websites, whatever, shows?
Yeah, I'm touring Instagram DJ Hans Kim, Linktree. Yeah, I'm gonna be somewhere soon. So yeah, just check it out if I'm coming there. Yeah, just the Instagram.
I really am happy for you, proud of you, and your story is inspiring. And I hope somebody that hears this is like, it sounds so cliche, but really never give up.
Yeah.
You know, and when you get an opportunity, you got to take advantage of it, which you did.
Thank
you
you.
know,
Yeah,
so-
I'm so super lucky. Every overnight success takes 10 years.
Or 20, or
Yeah.
25.
Yeah.
But when it happens, it's fucking great, man.
Yeah. There's a difference between your skill level, which is like linear, and then the money, which is exponential. So like when you're right here, you don't want to like be like, oh, I'm just gonna give up, because it's like right here, you're gonna
Yeah.
get that.
It's so true, man. It's so true. You just got to keep pushing, and you're going to fight a different battle in comedy. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's kind of like you're probably, since you're doing your own shows, do you get stressed out over numbers of crowd there yet? Are you in that range?
No,
No,
I
you're
just
not
don't
there?
even want to think about it. I don't have them tell me anything. If they want to tell me, that's fine. But yeah, I don't want to know
Till you
'cause-
get there, right?
Yeah,
I'm the same way.
Yeah,
It's just like, why be stressed out? Because no matter if you're stressed out about it or not, whoever's there is who was ever there.
yeah.
You know, you're going to perform.
I would do it for 30 people. So as long as there's 30, that's fine.
Because, no, it's true. Because here's what's amazing in the humble comics. It's like, no matter if it's 30 or 30,000, you know, those are people that paid their own money. That's what's really cool. They paid their money to see you. And that still blows me away.
Yeah.
Like, not a show where there's a band or Circus Soleil going. It's like, no, we're here to see you. Blows me away, man. Blows me away.
Yeah.
All right, Hans, thank you so much, bro.
Thank you, Michael.
All right, let's go eat.